Hello guys, how is your how's your day? How is October? I hope you're all doing great. Um, with I hope you're all doing great and things are just doing as well. Um, Today I have a very short message about happiness. I think this is going to be part three of our progress. Um, Today I'll also talk about two things about happiness. Is Today I will just talk about um, uniqueness and personal identity and and narcissism. So it is almost three things. Narcissism, it's kind of long thing to talk about, but I'll just talk a little about narcissism. So um, if you really want to be happy, you have to know how unique are you. So many people are born unique, and it is very easy to identify how somebody unique is. So being unique, you are subjected into different critics. You're subjected to different, gossip. You're subjected to different belittle. You're subjected to different kind of, harsh talk and being manipulated. These things will happen because people want to feel part of you. They just want to feel if they are unique, how does that feel? So they may try to do a lot of things, to interfere your personality so that they can just, occupy the position and feel how do you feel. Not exactly to occupy, but just to see if they distract your uniqueness, how will that feel? Most of the people are jealous people. I just want to give one of the example. When I was just growing up, at the certain charity, I've been growing up in under under the support of charity. So at the charity is overseeing our activity in our schooling, while sponsors, are sending money to the charity, and charity is overseeing all the activity. So in another way, we were under the charity, So in case sponsors want to reach to you, he must first contact the charity, and the charity will provide all the things you want in case of the questions and anything. So the charity was the only intermediary between me and my sponsor. Knowing that one day I have to speak very good English, so I kept trying to do my things. Because we are supposed to write letters to our sponsors, 3-4 times a year, like, during the Easter, Happy New Year, and the mid letters, which were about, you tell your sponsors about your progress at school, how's your performance, you send the Easter wishes and the Happy New Year wishes. So almost more than 3 letters a year. So at the charity, we had a translator, many translators, people who help, children who under the sponsorship program to write letters. You write the letter using your mother tongue, your language, say Swahili. Then the translator will translate the letter on behalf of you. Sometimes translator, they're trying their best, but they cannot really speak their heart. They cannot really speak what you wanted to be, heard, or what you want to be understood by your sponsor. So most of the time you may find that they used to standardize and put some, common ways, at least to bring the message. Since I was in secondary school, so I tried so hard to write on my own. I tried so hard to speak language and write in English so that one day I could write the letter in English without using a translator, so that I could write the letter in English directly and bring it to the charity center, so that the charity center will just send them to the sponsors without the use of translator. But I remember one day, sometimes the charity, you cannot let a letter out of the charity. So you have to visit the charity. Well, you are there, they'll just give you a paper, the charity is kind of huge, so the paper has the logo of the charity, and the paper has the logo of the charity, so it's like, hey, I'm here today, I just want to write a letter, and they just, okay, Michael, here's the paper, you can just write to your sponsor. And it wasn't an option. You have to appear, sometimes more than 3 times a year to make sure that you write a letter. And if you don't do that, you are against the contract and regulation of the charity. So, going at the charity, sometimes we meet more than 3 people to whom we are all sponsored. So we try to speak sometimes, because we are writing the letter in English, sometimes we start to speak some English language, trying, to see if we make some catch up at the school. Secondary school, most of the students are so eager to speak in language. So I was trying so hard, as you can see, my pronunciation, the accent. So I was trying so hard to speak the staff sometimes, and with the college, the people to whom we are sponsored together. So one day, the coordinator of the charity project in Dar es Salaam, where I was also being serviced, he came out of the office, and he came where I was just writing a letter with some other children, and he shouted at me like, hey Michael, you cannot speak English. I don't think if your sponsor can really understand you. It was such a big discourage, a belittle, telling a young guy who's trying to fit into something in the society, to find his value and show his understanding, not to cope with life. And boom, you come to criticize him, and you tell him that he cannot do something. It was a total discourage, as if I can remember how the best child trying to do so many things at the center, including my school performance, and how the sponsors and the other people were trying, and how they were just perceiving me as upcoming young boy who can do something in the society. So I remember my friends and other people around laughed so hard. It was like mock day, and he was majestical, telling me, facing me like I cannot speak English, and it was like we were quarreling. It was a fight, because he had so many grudges. His face was crunched, with wrinkles, the voice was not friendly. He was like shouting to me like, stop speaking English. So now I really want to know, sometimes you have to identify how unique you are, and how people may want to interfere your uniqueness, or you struggle to be somebody. So if you consider what people are trying to do on your way, you will not be happy. As I remember, with my dream to speak good English, somebody who is like a role model, who was supposed to give me courage, all of a sudden he came over and he was shouting to me that I better stop speaking English. You cannot stop a person to speak in certain language which is not his mother language, because that shows how much he is trying to adapt and learn new language. Trying to learn new language is like an adventure. And it's not a question of whether you have to discourage anyone who's trying to do his best to be somebody. So I know many people in the world, many people in the environment are trying their best to be somebody's, but they face a lot of challenges. And one of the cause of unhappiness is to believe that what other people are saying are true, and you have to stop pushing your dream. So I can tell you the story. From that point, I knew that the lady wasn't happy with how I'm trying to be somebody. So I never stopped learning in English. I never stopped training myself. I never stopped trying to speak. I never stopped learning and leading and listening to songs which are in English language. That was the point of me to bring up my language and become better. I cannot be the best than the people to whom English is their mother tongue, but I cannot give up to speak, since I came to realize some people can really capture what I talk and they can't really get the message. So it is about, say, 10 years ago when I was discouraged. Well, I faced many kind of discouragement, but this one I can explain it well. So remember, it was last year when my sponsors for the first time, they were visiting Tanzania. So I met with my sponsors at Arusha, and because we had never ever came across, so they were not familiar if I can speak good English, and they were not familiar how do I look and who is Michael. But we kept, at the time when I was receiving the sponsorship, they kept, we kept doing the paintball, on through writings and all that, some pictures. So I remember the day when we met, they were so excited, and they invited a translator, a tour guide that say, when you're a tourist, sometimes you need a tour guide and you need a translator to help your communication with the environment. Say you're going to town, blah blah blah. So I remember when they saw me, it was such a huge hug. It was so amazing. They were shouting. I even cried. But soon after we met, we started talking. Are you Michael? How you doing? We've been sponsoring, blah blah blah. So the translator was trying to translate, okay, and I told him so humbly. I told the translator if we could stop translating on behalf of me, and if he can just give us a space, and so that I can just talk with my sponsors privately. He couldn't really understand, and my sponsor couldn't really believe why I didn't want him. They say, okay, Michael, this is translator and he can help. And I said, no, I can speak on my own. Really? So it was so amazing. And I remember they complimented me. They told me that I do speak well than the translator. And they later on asked if I've ever stayed out of the country, if I've ever stayed, say, in the United States or any county in the United States. And I was like, no, it's just because of my practice and learning. So here we come. If I could take the discouragement from that lady and believe that I cannot speak in English, I wouldn't have, surprised my sponsors, and I would have not been complimented by my sponsors. And at the time when I was complimented, I felt so unique, I can tell you. So if you receive other people discouraging, distractions, their grudges and wrinkles face that you cannot do something, that's the point you may start not to be happy, and you may absorb that, and day by day you may find that your value is decreasing. So people have different talents. Everyone has his talents. The common thing is when you have a talent and when you are unique in certain things, Be ready to be criticized. Be ready to be disappointed. Be ready to be belated, and be ready to be hated by your surroundings, people who surrounds you. So you don't have to accept what they're trying to impose in you, because when you accept that, you become, discouraged, and you start to reject yourself, and you start to find a way in how you can fit the society while declining and diminishing your life from within, that what God were endowed you to do the life you want and be the unique person in a society. So the language you hear, the accent you hear today, that is the language that about 10 years ago somebody came over with, with very negative criticism about it, and because I didn't give up on that, today I believe I can just express my message, and so many people of the world can understand what I mean. Talents can be anything. Some people are so beautiful, some people are so handsome, but all of a sudden somebody may just tell you, you're not handsome and you're not attractive. So you believe that you're not handsome and you're not attractive, you become an unhappy person, and later on you absorb that feeling, and day by day you don't accept your shiny state, you don't accept your brightful state, you don't put much effort on what you was believing, and you start to believe what the other people are telling you or what she has told you, and you become unhappy because you're in the state of contradiction with what you believe and what people tell you what you are. Okay, so if you want to be happy, you have to know your uniqueness. Perhaps you talk beautifully, perhaps you walk beautiful, perhaps people love you, perhaps you were born to be entrepreneur, perhaps you were born to be a typist, anything, whichever. If you find your passion and you're trying so hard to do that, people start to discourage you and tell you that you don't fit in certain things. Don't trust that. Know your uniqueness and work on that dream, trying to make sure you do even better on that. And that's how you'll still be happy, and one day you'll beat your chest that, yeah, I did it. The second thing of what I wanted to talk was it was about uniqueness. It was about, oh my god, okay, narcissism. Narcissism is such a long topic, but it is about people who are social, who are psychopath, people who are so centered on themselves, people who may not be happy until they cause trouble in other people. Well, another thing was manipulation, okay? So you have to be very careful when you interact with people in the society. Some people are pure narcissists, and you have to know how you can deal with them. If you are not capable of leading your society and try to understand which type of people are you dealing with, that will cause trouble into your life, because you may be accepting every kind of grudges which is thrown toward you. You may be put down and you may lack value totally. So when I get time, the next video, I'll talk about narcissism, narcissist. So many people are narcissists, and they distract so many people's lives. Their energy drainer. Once they come nearby, they grab all the energy, they grab all the value. When you come nearby them, the next time you feel empty. You feel that you are nothing and you are down then. So you have to be very, very careful to maintain your energy and power. Whenever you are surrounded with people, to make sure that narcissism don't come along your way. Another thing is about manipulation. Manipulation is when somebody is treating you frequently with the aim of either obtaining something. It can be your value, it can be your money, it can be your respect, it can be your ability, anything that you have. Manipulation. You see? So I was talking with one of my friends, and he was asking me to give him an advice about relationship. So he was loving a girl who wasn't interested into him, and I was trying to tell him, hey man, you don't have to force a relationship. If she is not there for you, and if she doesn't value what you provide, you better leave her alone. Let her decide which is the best way to go. But all of a sudden, the friend, turned the table, and he was talking with me very harsh. Hey, stop telling me that. You don't know where I came from with a girl. We have spent so many times together. No, don't. So if you have to know people so that you won't be wasting your time. Do you understand? So that's very short and clear. So try to know 3 things when you want to be happy. Know your uniqueness so that you can control people who want to distract your right, your ability and capacity and your talent, by discouraging you that you cannot be what you want to be in your life. Manipulation. People who do inbox other people. People to whom, when you spend time together, they are just looking at you when you are talking like you have nothing to share, like you are the dumb guy. You meet somebody and you're just trying to share some ideas, and the way they look at you like you are nothing. You have to avoid those kind of people. You have to avoid people who are trying to ask you things that you don't understand. Okay, say you're a linguist and somebody keep asking you about physics. The more you're trying to show that you are weak at certain field of understanding, the more he keep on asking to still keep you down. So try to be aware with any kind of manipulation which wants you to express your weakness from inside when you are talking to people. Well, being a research consultant, I get manipulated so many times. There's this statement my client most of the time tell me, Michael, don't think that I'm not smart. I'm so smart and I've been doing so well in my classes. But I give you this because I don't have time. They're lying. So many people don't want to appreciate that there are other people who are better than them in some certain area, certain experience or skill. Sometimes while you're consulting somebody about his research, he keeps asking stupid questions, irritative questions, and sometimes you may find that he expresses anger like, I don't understand. He's angry. He don't want to be told. He don't want to believe that Michael is teaching him. So being aware, I always trying to calm myself, smile a little, and bring my clients on the topic in a very beautiful way by complimenting them and tell them, yeah, I know you can do that. I know I'm doing this just because I do assist you, but you are so intelligent. Yes, let me hear about your thought. What can I add? What can I remove? But this is not right. Please see the guideline. So if you are aware of manipulation and manipulative people, you can design a way on how to handle them. Okay. The third thing was narcissism. It's a very wrong topic, but narcissists are kind of people who are always trying to show that they are the best than the other people. Narcissism can be seen in various perspectives. If you're using a computer and your computer is another brand and he's using Apple computer, he may necessarily want to show you that he's better off than you. Narcissism are people who are using much energy to belittle and demean other people in various angles of life. If you have a dream and you allow narcissism to interfere in your life, you may not achieve your dream because you impose so many things that you may start to loosen your dream and try to compete with him. Okay, so people have to be careful and you have to consider those three things, and I think in the next video I'll try to elaborate more about those three things. Keep me reminded. Thank you.